We are reporting live once again from the very first annual SME South Africa Funding Summit, and I'm sitting with Gary Markson. He is just delivered a very powerful address on stage right now. I'm told that the audience was nodding along, but of course, as somebody who heads up a very important portfolio in the banking sector, and just with everything that African Bank is doing. I just want you to maybe quickly summarize it for us, just some of the key points from your address. What are some of the key takeaways for somebody who wasn't, privileged enough to be in the room?
I think my talk was really largely centered around the pain points of entrepreneurs. And I was trying to emphasize to the audience that we ourselves as a bank are a business, a growing one at that. There are moves that we are making, from acquisitions to bolstering our offerings that the consumers will take up. So we understand what it is to be an entrepreneur. We are entrepreneurs ourselves. We immerse ourselves in the businesses that we interact with, so that we have a full appreciation of what it is that they go through and what it is that we need to solve for.
Yeah. What do you find then are some of those key challenges? Because you know what, Gary, we've been having this talk about supporting small businesses for the longest time. And I mean, you've been in the space, you know this. We've been
Absolutely.
talking and talking and talking.
Absolutely.
But it's almost like, what are some of those key pain points that you feel like we're not yet properly addressing as industry, as financiers?
Yeah.
Is it the access to finance? What is it? Where?
I think there are a number of things. The first probably is about document readiness. Having the acumen to package what it is that you need to bring in order to evidence that your business is actually bankable. And that's something that we strive to support entrepreneurs with, is how it is that they can be ready, and how it is that we put the story of the business together in order to really firstly understand it well ourselves, and get to a point where we actually believe in the jockey that's behind the business and what it is that they're doing. So that's the first. I think from another angle, entrepreneurs are really good at the things that are the core of the business. But they aren't always skilled enough around some of the periphery matters of a business. And a prime example is HR and having to deal with the disciplinary. If you handle something like that incorrectly, it could cost your business. But also it takes you away from focusing on the thing that really makes the business turn. So we have provided capabilities from an entrepreneurial support perspective that will help businesses to actually focus on the things that they are good at, and we'll focus on the beyond banking items that will help them to be successful.
Yeah. African Bank has recently, in fact, I think it's more than a year now, that you bought Grindrod Bank, and a lot of other smaller acquisitions that are happening, including them now being part of the FinFund report that was launched last week.
That's right.
What can we expect as the small business industry? What should we look forward to from an African banking perspective? I understand that obviously you are entrepreneurs yourself. I think African Bank is doing a really good story of kind of starting from the ground and telling that the bank was founded by entrepreneurs. But what can we expect to see now from African Bank within the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I mean, you've mentioned the acquisitions, right? And all of that has been really to bolster, the capabilities that we have. So we really are a fully fledged bank, and we can compete with any of the traditional players. I think what you can look forward to is a lot of very savvy, entrepreneurial friendly offerings. You know, you would have heard in the talk as well. I really didn't get into product discussions because it's really about understanding a business and the person, and then packaging a solution that is bespoke to the problem that you're trying to solve for. So very different in our approach. I'm really keen on seeing entrepreneurs put our digital lending capability to the test, because it's something that we've worked very hard to establish, and it is ready. And I'd like for entrepreneurs to give it a bash.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's online. And as I mentioned, you don't require reams of documentation to get through it.
Thank God.
And we know that entrepreneurs, they need to get things done quickly. So having to take copious amounts of time and documentation in order to get a transaction together is something that entrepreneurs grapple with.
Yeah.
So I think people can look forward to that.
Super exciting. I can't wait to see what's next. And SME South Africa is here, obviously, has a platform. We've got the audience that you know would want to engage. So we're looking forward to also having further discussions offline. This is recorded,
Absolutely.
So in a year's time we need to compare to say, okay, what have we done? How far are we? And we'll be watching with very keen interest as to which position African Banks takes in the market space. Thank you so much for doing this.